The idea for the 10-year plan came from my two best friends who 15 years ago made a 10-year plan. They made a plan that if they were single in 10 years, they'd be together. 5 years ago, the plan became due and they both came to me separately and said, oh my God, what do I do? I don't know how to not hurt the other one's feelings, but I don't know if this is really for me romantically. And I thought that was a great idea for a romantic comedy. So that was my jumping off point in making the film. I think that making a film about two people who made a plan and now try to get out of it is ripe with conflict. And for a romantic comedy, not only do you want something that is about two people who love each other and care about each other, but also all the obstacles in them finding each other. So the characters were there, the conflict was there, and the situation I thought was exactly what the makings of a good romantic comedy would be. I cast the leads by auditioning hundreds of actors, hundreds and hundreds of actors, spent weeks and weeks. I wasn't going to make the film unless I had the perfect cast. So once I found a group of guys and gal who I thought would be perfect, then I started with chemistry reads, pairing them together. So I would find just the two guys who I felt would be the perfect Miles, the perfect Brody, and two guys who genuinely cared about each other and wanted to be together, and we would, as an audience, fall in love with. So by pairing them together and their best friends, and just to see a group of people who genuinely would look good together and would be believable. I make the movies that I want to see. I make the movies that I wish were on Netflix on a Friday night that I could rent with my partner sitting on the couch. If I was sitting there going like, all right, what do we want to watch? Well, I would love to see just this really Hollywood type romantic comedy with a couple of great actors who look great and are funny and sweet and romantic and culminate into a good story. So that's what I want to watch on a Friday night, and I make the movies that I want to see, and I think a lot of people want to see it. I think that people are looking for that kind of a program, that kind of a film, and that's what I'd like to give them. My favorite scene in the film is what I call the candelabra scene. It's when Brody goes to see Miles for the first time after missing him after they fight, and he comes over with some Chinese food and a beer, and he just wants to hang out, and Miles has a date, and he's got this big candelabra on the table because he's created this big romantic date, and Brody says, who are you having over for dinner, Liberace? And he sees this wonderful romantic evening with Miles that Miles has planned for somebody else, and I think that's the first time it really kind of occurs to him that this is a special guy, and this is a special thing that I'm missing out on, and I think that lovely scene between the two guys who really play it super subtle, but you see that there's this love there, and although they don't lead with that, you see that there is this special connection, and they're really kind of heartbroken for not being together this evening, and they really know that that's who they should be sharing this special evening with. And I think that's to me the first moment that I get really kind of choked up in the movie, and I go, oh, that's really wonderful. And that's, for me, my favorite scene. The challenges on making a film on a small budget is that you really have limited money to do anything. Limited money for locations, limited money for cast and crew. And each day that you shoot translates into money. So you have limited shoot days. So everything has to be accelerated. So much has to be done in such a small amount of time with such a small amount of people and so few resources that in the case of this film, I'm shooting most of the film at my friends' houses or owners of bars who I know who are being kind to me and let me shoot there. So I have to, when I write the script, I have to be aware of, well, I'm only going to have 2 weeks to make this film. I'll have 12 days to shoot the film, and I'm not going to have the locations that I need. I'm not going to have the crew that I'm going to really need. I'm not going to have the amount of cast that I need. So everything has to be scaled down so you get as much story as you can and as much production value as you can with spending just as the least amount of money. My cast was amazing. Not only are they all just a tremendously talented group of people, but they're the nicest group of people. I'm really so fortunate. We have so much fun together. I think we genuinely all like each other as friends, so the process has been nothing but a complete joy. We go out on the film festival circuits or or wherever we go, and we just like hanging out with each other. So I cast great actors, and when I made the film, I was just thrilled to have terrific actors in the movie. But now I'm fortunate enough to have a great group of guys who I get to enjoy the experience with as well, and I couldn't be more fortunate to have met such a terrific group of and supportive group of guys who are always there. If I need something, they're like, "What do we need? Well, how can we be there? What can we do to help?" And that is huge for a film. Well, out of my 3 films, is just me, E-Cupid, and now the 10-year plan. I can't really say I have a favorite because they're all your children in essence. You know, they all came from my imagination, and I wrote and directed and produced them, and I feel strongly about all of them. They all have a special place in my heart. Is It Just Me was the first film, and I think it's a wonderful, sweet film that I just love, and I love the people who I got to make the film with. E-Cupid was more fun in that it's just a kind of a fable, as opposed to the first one, which was a love story, and we had a wonderful experience with that, and I think that it's just really just a sweet, lovely, fun film. And this is kind of my Hollywood rom-com movie. This is what I would consider the most mainstream of the romantic comedies. And this has been just a wonderful experience between the cast and the audience and the fans who have responded so well to it. We've just had a great time. So they're all different, and you love them all differently. I expected the movie to come out the way it did, because I took a lot of care in each aspect of it. What was the pleasant surprise, and I think that's the case with every director, you kind of set the wheels in motion, and you hope for the best, especially with the cast. And with the cast, when you're shooting it, just that chemistry, which you try to bring to the table, but when it starts to happen, it's just it's there. And it came out better in the respect that everybody was just so lovely and so charismatic and funny, and so many layers of their performance. So when I watch the movie, it's what I had hoped to achieve, but I think all the actors brought it that next level, and I watch and I go, wow, this is really great. They are really great in this, and they're bringing so much to it that's really elevating it above the logistical choices that you make as a director.
And what was it like working with your partner in making this film?
My partner is often a nightmare to deal with. It's kind of constant codependency and nagging and just the need to make me successful so I can die and he can keep all the money.
Do you want to try this answer again?
No. Well, my partner is the executive producer of the film, and he's the executive producer because when I need money or we need to make something or we need to pay for something, I go to him and I go, honey, can I take money out of the bank account? And he says, okay. So that makes him the executive producer. But he also is the person who's always there to help from at night. He comes back from work or on the weekends, and it's the constant, well, we need to create art. We need to update this, and I need to build this, and I need to borrow this, and I need to do. So he's always filling in all the things that I can't do. So it's really a nice partnership. He's always contributing to so much, but I think anybody in a relationship with somebody who's trying to do something always has that support of a partner, so that's why they're called a partner. But you know, he's the person who makes it all possible, because I couldn't do it. If it were only me, none of this could get done. So that's who my partner is in the process.